So, Justin Trudeau was recently at the G20 summit, and it doesn't seem like things were going right for him. Well, in this video, we're going to be checking out some updates on what might have happened. So, let's get to it.
This image is not exactly the epitome of happiness or of a warm, cordial friendship, because it is not in reality too. 20 leaders arrived in India for the G20 summit and also some guest nations. But it seemed very obvious from the word go that among all of them, all was not well with one nation's leader, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. During the summit, India made one...
The presenter sounds very angry. Trudeau really got all of them mad like that.
One nation's leader, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. During the summit, India made one thing absolutely clear on Khalistan extremism prevalent in Canada, threatening violence against India. Repeated concerns were shared with Canada, but little action seems to have been taken. And this will not be accepted or forgotten anymore. Terrorism is not only India's responsibility to deal with. Remember, as much as these Khalistan extremists may want to claim, they do not represent the Sikh community at large. Sikhs are staunch Indian nationalists who have sacrificed their life for India's security, who have contributed in arts, military, strategy and nation building for India and since centuries. Sikhs have also spoken up and stood against Khalistani secessionist activities despite intimidation and threats thrown at them. It is time Canada realizes the difference between the two. India showed by actions, and likely Trudeau realized it a bit too.
So for just those who don't understand the Khalistani, sorry if I'm calling that wrong, but the problem was while Trudeau was at the G20 summit, there was like a walk or parade by the Khalistani group, and they said they're spreading a message that they the word was, they used a specific word, but the word meant they're trying to break India into smaller parts. And Prime Minister of India, Modi, doesn't take that lightly, and he doesn't like the fact that Justin Trudeau is not stopping them. And Justin Trudeau in a speech said, "We allow free speech in Canada and we are not going to stop people from expressing themselves." So that is like a summary. I'm just paraphrasing, you can go read for yourself, but don't quote me on anything. I'm just trying to paraphrase what I understood from the conflict here.
Or at least so it seemed. Canadian Prime Minister skipped the G20 dinner without a reason. At one occasion, when Indian Prime Minister Modi, held Trudeau's hand, one can see Canadian Prime Minister not willing to keep the hand held for long and pulls away. All the cameras clearly caught it. There was also no bilateral between India and Canada, but there was one pull-aside meeting where Indian Prime Minister office released a statement that strong concerns about anti-India activities and secessionism in Canada were conveyed to their Prime Minister. Now, India believes in Atithi Devo Bhava, which means a guest is like a god. So the best form of hospitality, nevertheless, was offered to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau when he arrived for the G20 in Delhi. Stayed at a 5-star rated hotel, the Lalit in New Delhi, where he had to, overstay after his aircraft malfunctioned. But while India was extending this generosity to the Canadian Prime Minister because his departure kept getting delayed, at the same time, Khalistani extremists were coming together to organize a referendum in Canada, another referendum, which clearly authorities permitted for the Canadian soil to be misused against India. What is this Khalistan referendum they keep organizing? Basically, this is an unofficial vote to potentially create a Sikh separate state, a vote to break India into pieces. Remember, these Khalistanis based in Canada only want to attack India's Punjab, not Pakistan's, where, by the way, two most important holy Sikh sites are located, the Nankana Sahib and the Kartarpur Sahib. That should also be on agenda plan for the Khalistan vote, isn't it? But never is. I wonder why no demand against Pakistan by the Khalistan extremists. Such activities are not simply about permitting freedom of speech, but permitting your country's soil to be misused against another nation. And how can or why should any government really allow this when Canada repeatedly refused action? Sikhs for Justice is a propagandist group that has nothing to do with justice. It has repeatedly organized referendums against India. Indian Foreign Ministry accused Canada of permitting extremists to carry out, and I quote it here, deeply objectionable and politically motivated exercises. Canadian government defended this as an exercise in freedom of speech. When Khalistani extremist organizations circulated flyers, remember, in July 2023, with face of India's diplomats and consular officials who are posted in Canada being described as the faces of the killers, clearly marking them for assassination. New Delhi reminded Ottawa its obligations under the Vienna Convention on
Marking them for assassination, and that was spreading in Canada. That is a concern. That would be a concern. I'm not a political person, but it seems like a concern to me, right?
diplomatic and consular relations of 1961 and 63. Arindam Bagchi, who's the spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs, told journalists, and I quote him here, "This is misuse for advocating violence, for propagating separatism and for legitimizing terrorism." Again, no action was taken against those who had made these flyers. Nobody was arrested, not even detained. Remember murder threat against serving Indian envoys in Canada. Hindu temples are repeatedly desecrated, but for some strange reason, nobody is taken into custody by Canada's police. No suspects at all for the anti-India, pro-Khalistan graffiti. Some of you may remember Trudeau's visit to India in 2018. It was similarly turbulent. There was a dinner organized, and among the guests invited was a convicted terrorist, Khalistani convicted terrorist Jaspal Atwal. Earlier, he was seen posing with Justin Trudeau's former wife, Sophie. Pictures went viral, led to immediate massive outrage that was witnessed in India. Prime Minister Trudeau was forced to revoke the invitation and even called it unfortunate while speaking to India Today television. The fact that someone from his government had the audacity to send such invitations also speaks a lot. Let me take you slightly back into history. In 1982, even then, India had asked Canada for extradition of wanted Khalistani extremists for killing police officers. However, then Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, father of incumbent Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, had made an absurd excuse and refused. Such actions clearly encouraged further actions of Khalistani extremists, and we know the turmoil that Punjab descended into. As recent as 12th September, Indian High Commission in Ottawa expressed dissatisfaction, saying that it is a futile attempt to undermine India and Canada's relationship by an illegal organization that is allowed to spread wings. Even earlier, India, condemning such Khalistan activities, had reiterated, "It is surprising to see acts of extremism motivated by politics taking place in a country that is considered friendly." Sadly, to the lack of action taken by the government, there is a political connect here. Some of the Khalistani extremists are influential in Canada, and they can help as a vote bank during elections and for a victory for a political party. In 2019 Canadian federal election, Prime Minister
They're
Justin Trudeau
influential in Canada, and they can help to change the election. Let's hear that again. I'll take it right back. Yeah, that's
by the government,
lot of
there is a
power.
political connect here. Some of the Khalistani extremists are influential in Canada, and they can help as a vote bank during elections and for a victory for a political party. In 2019 Canadian federal election, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party got 157 votes, 13 short of a majority. They then decided to form a coalition government with the New Democratic Party led by Jagmeet Singh Dhaliwal, who has been blatantly a pro-Khalistan leader who uses the most vile language against India irrespective of the political party who's in the government. You should know that Jagmeet has been repeatedly denied visa to India even during Dr. Manmohan Singh's government. Now, you may think only India is constantly angry against Justin Trudeau. That's not true. This is how their own country's media reported via the Toronto Sun. And this is how the opposition reacted. The Conservative Party has shared this video on social media site X, how Trudeau falters everywhere in other countries, snubbed by other prime ministers and presidents, unable to hoist their own national flag in other countries, and much more. As I conclude, whether it was 2018 or 2023, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has had visits that have been turbulent, and he has only his government and his actions to blame. We hope, while India is prepared to lend a hand of friendship, Canada would do the same. And that will be by taking action against extremist elements on its soil. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, Justin Trudeau is another leader that has a lot in his hands next to Emmanuel Macron right now. Like, they have their hands full. Everybody's talking about Trudeau. This is not even speaking of the Canadians complaining about housing crises and carbon taxes and a thousand other things. Yeah, and also he just recently got a divorce, and now this one, like he has his hands full. With regards to this situation, like my opinion is always one that is consistent with any discussion, which is staying neutral. If Modi doesn't think this is right, you just my thoughts would be, my country, I'm concerned about Canadians. If this is not furthering the agenda of Canada, then it shouldn't be in Canada. Like that would be how I would see this. I don't understand. I'm not a politician. I don't know what the intentions might be here. Like I've not read into the context, but I'm always for neutrality, where it's like, this does not help my people. It does not advance Canada to the next level. So why am I getting involved with this? That is how I would see it, and that's what I'll make my decision with. But that's just me though. Like I said, I'm not a professional, but you can talk to me, whatever you think. If there's anything you want to share about this, if there's a lie in the video you want to correct, anything, is an open dialogue, so feel free to share in the comment section. Well, this is the end of this video. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a wonderful day. Peace.